This is the Wedding Remix.
The Wedding Remix, providing inspiration, education, and awareness of elite wedding professionals. Here's your hosts, Lizzy Liz, Jacob Thader, and Armando Cepeda. This is the Wedding Remix. Hey everyone, this is Armando. This is the Wedding Remix. We are on location today. That's what all this is behind me. But we are excited for this week's show. We have two great guests. We know you're going to love it. And as always, please like, follow, comment, subscribe, and share this information. And without further ado, let's get into it. Our first guest is Christine Ong-Forsythe from Lavish Weddings. Christine started in the hospitality industry in 2009, working at a premier catering company. Her heavy involvement on the catering side paired her passion to help clients however she could. She had couples asking her for more assistance with other areas of wedding planning. And in 2013, Christine launched her planning and design company, Lavish Weddings, where she strives to create a timeless look coupled with a flawless event. Over the past 7 years, Lavish Weddings has quickly become one of the top-rated planning companies in San Diego and has also began to plan other social and corporate events across Southern California and around the world. In addition to planning weddings and events, Christine has also launched other companies under the Lavish umbrella, including Lavish Blooms Box, a luxury gifting box curated with flowers and unique treats, and Lavish Travels, a boutique travel planning service for destination weddings, honeymoons, and vacations. Additionally, she has recently been designing a handy new belt bag for wedding planners and will be offering them for purchase in the next few months. So please enjoy our conversation with Christine of Lavish Weddings.
Well, hello, Christine. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Wedding Remix. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We're so excited to have you here. And I actually haven't shared too much with all of you about exactly what I do, but I'm actually on Christine's team as her senior planner and event designer, so I know a little bit about her story, and I'm very excited to share more about her and her story with you today.
Can you start by telling us about your childhood?
Yes, so I was born in the Philippines, and I moved here when I was 9. Growing up in the Philippines, it's a lot different actually than here. My dad owned a business, so we never saw him. He was so busy all the time. And there, when you go to school, we went at like 7 a.m. till 12 p.m., and that was like English school. And then my dad's Chinese, so for Chinese school from 12 to 5. So honestly, like your whole childhood is school, and then you go home and you sleep and do homework, and then we have a tutor after that, so it's just literally just school. What's fun is that I did live with a lot of my cousins, and those are really my friends, and they would come over. And then growing up there, we had like nannies and maids, so you never really have to look after each other, or like do my own, I don't know, cook my own food, anything like that. So but moving here is a huge transition for my whole family. At first, they wanted to move it to Chicago. So my parents went first, and they loved the city, but then it was winter. And my mom said there was a specific time she went outside and she saw the little kids like going to school in snow. And she's like, I can never picture you guys doing this, coming from the Philippines. So she's like, okay, where else can we go? And then that's where we moved to San Diego. And they're like, this is the perfect weather. Like, you can't ask for anything better. So when we moved here, went to elementary school, and it was so different because my parents were always home now. Like, the business was just in the Philippines, so they were 100%, with us the whole time, dropping us off, picking us up. Yeah, they were the parents that all our friends knew, and they called them like mom and dad almost, and everybody was just at our house like every day. So that was really, really nice. They were so involved, us growing up. So I would say I had a pretty good childhood.
Were events a part of your childhood at all?
So I would be always the one planning our birthday parties, and anytime my friends want to do anything, I would be the planner. Even going to the movies, I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch this and that, and we're gonna go eat here first. Like, I've always been the planner. So they always went to me for that, but I never thought I'd be like a wedding planner. I don't think I attended tons of weddings growing up. So I just, until I saw The Wedding Planner by J-Lo, I was like, I can't believe that's a career.
Yeah.
And I have to do that.
Aw. What did you think you were going to get into, or what did you want to be when you grew up?
So, like I do, but I think you don't know when it's high school. Three of the top ones, I would say I wanted to be a weather broadcaster, believe it or not.
Nice.
It's like, I didn't know I had to know anything about climate, but it's like I could stand there and tell them what's gonna, the weather's gonna be like, and get all dolled up every day. I could do that. Or I wanted to be a dental hygienist, actually. Or a nurse, because my sister and, I'm Filipino, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to Joe Coy all the time. So
Yes.
either you're
Oh.
a mailman or you're a nurse.
You're a nurse, yeah. What are you going to be? A nurse. My daughter's going to be a nurse.
What was your first job?
So I was a server at a sushi restaurant called Happy Sushi. Lots of great memories there because I actually met my husband there. Yeah, he was a friend of our old sushi chef, so they would come in and eat, and that was over 10 years ago. I met him there, and then it's fun. And then I actually got into catering because of that job. The owner started a catering company. Usually it was first actually geared towards corporate parties, and then we did weddings here and there, and that's really where I fell in love with the industry. So when I started seeing weddings, seeing the bride, just like watching it from afar, because I was only doing catering. And then when I came on as their event director, I said, I want to do more weddings. So we went to a lot of the wedding shows, just trying to get more brides in. I met with a lot of the open type venues, so we could be a preferred catering company. And we were like more of an all-inclusive catering. So I handled the food, the rentals, and then I did the coordination.
Oh, wow.
Just for the catering, though, not like their day of. But honestly, all of them thought I was their wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
They would come and be like, when am I going to drop off my favors? I'm like, I don't do
Yeah,
that.
you don't do that.
You have your day of coordinator do that, or a planner. But it was fun just watching it, and everyone, it's just a happy moment. So.
Had you seen the wedding planner by then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And after that, I just really wanted to be a wedding planner. Yeah, kind of just clicked. Like I want the fanny pack. I want the headphones. Like I want to walk
clipboard.
around. Yeah, I want the board.
How did you learn everything along the way with the catering company?
Yeah, so I just started from the bottom. Like I was a server, serving, and then after that, I learned a little bit more about the food and also the rentals and setup. So after a few weddings, they needed someone for sales. And my background, I love sales. Actually, before the serving job, I used to sell strainers, a little kiosk, but only part-time in school.
That's like a hustle.
Oh my God, girl.
Yeah. Like, hey, girl, you got curly hair. Can I see
I'm like, oh my God, I love your hair. Let me try this on you. So I would be very nice to those kiosk people. Just say, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But that was my little hustle, like while I was in like high school and school. And then, so I love the sales. So he brought me in and he's like, okay, Christine, I stopped working at the restaurant. I just focused mainly on the catering. Yeah, and I probably did that for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, total.
And then with weddings, when you were starting to help these clients who thought that you were their coordinator, how did you learn about that? Or was it kind of just, let's figure it out along the way?
I never told this to anyone, actually, but I don't think I told you, Jacob. So I went to Barnes & Noble's, got all the wedding planning, like books you can think of, like Wedding 101, like even the planner that you buy as a bride. And I literally took all the notes. I created all my own templates through Excel. I just did it through there. And then just like seeing weddings and, when there was a coordinator there, just seeing what they were doing, what to expect, what I expected from a wedding coordinator as a vendor.
Yeah.
I think that's so super, super important to know. And just knowing the back end of everything, like the food, the DJ, the bar, everything. So that's how I learned. And I did take a few classes at Cal State, San Marcos, but majority of everything they were saying, I kind of knew already just being in the industry. So that's why I always tell all my coordinators, it's good to have a background in either like hotels or catering, something, even floral, like anything, just so you know what the wedding's like. And even though it's all different, like I'm sure you guys know, every wedding's so different. You can't come in and be like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. But it's kind of the same too at the same time. Same flow and everything and same expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you working at the kiosk also like plays a huge role because you had to build a thick skin.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I'm not gonna talk. I know she's trying to sell me that
Oh, yeah.
straightener, you know?
100%. I learned to hustle and like sales and what
Yeah.
to do, and I'm glad I did it. But honestly, it's because I love the straightener. And the guy was like, "You want to work here part time?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll work here."
Yeah.
You know, I have to pay for the straightener.
Your friends probably loved you too.
Oh yeah, I even got my sister to work there. Like, you know, during the weekend, she's like, I was like, "Just want to work with me. All you have to do is I'll get them in, just sit them down, do their hair. That's all you have to do." And then after that, I actually we transitioned into like the clip-on extension too.
yeah.
So you know, you can double up your sales.
Oh, man, so if this doesn't go well, you could always do hair.
I always do kiosk and yeah, hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm
for
sure you
sure.
touch up like brides and bridesmaids. Like
Oh,
you're like,
yes.
that curl's just
Yeah.
a little flat.
We definitely had curling irons and yeah, a straightener in our emergency kit.
So then at what point, while you were being a wedding planner, while also working at the catering company, did you decide to start Lavish Weddings?
Yeah, so I was still in school for nursing, and I knew I had to make a decision because nursing, it's a full-time, you have to be a full-time student, like 100%. My sister told me she's a nurse, and she's like, you can't work, you can't do anything, you just have to be a nurse. I mean, it's so important, right? It's an important job. So I actually stopped going. I had one more class to get into the nursing program.
Oh my God.
And I remember, I'm such a risk taker when it comes to this, but I remember getting an office space, super small office space, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this full time. I still work for the catering a little bit, but I did start my own Lavish Weddings. And it was hard, you know, learning the business side of it. How do I start a business? And but it worked out in the end. I'm so glad I did. And even how to create your business name. I think that's so important. Like going into it, I know I wanted a team. I wanted to build a team with me and not just my name. So that was important. And then Lavish, I just, you know, it's opulent, it's everything. So I just love that. Although my first year, I didn't do all Lavish Weddings. Come on, let's just, you know, it's not all lavish. But, you know, I wanted to get there. Yeah. So, yeah.
How many weddings did you do that first year? Plan and coordinate.
Yeah, so this is crazy, and I didn't know this until I actually went back. I have this whole Excel sheet of every year and how much I even charge each client, their names, where it was. And I recently just looked back, and I actually did 65 weddings.
Holy moly.
I did not, you guys, I did not have a life.
65.
Yeah, I don't know how Adam kept like dating me. I had no
Wow.
life. Actually, I did. He was my assistant for most of it. Yeah.
He
Because
must
I
really
needed
love
free
you
labor.
then.
Yeah, exactly. He was at my first wedding. I still remember, and we joke around about it because I was like, I knew you liked me because you went with me, and it was 4th of July weekend in Temecula, so hot.
Yeah.
So I was like, you really like me.
And you really realized
And
that
I'm
you
gonna
liked the
marry
job.
you. Yeah. And he's like, he just saw that I have a passion for it. I'm like, if you want to hang out with me, I have to work. Even with catering, he would help bartend or serve just so we can hang out. And I was like, don't worry, you get free food.
Yeah.
But then I knew, like, as I started growing, I needed to hire assistants. And that's when I decided, okay, I need to hire a real assistant.
Well,
Like,
65 weddings. At what point
Yeah.
did you hire that first
So
assistant?
I did have assistants then, but it was just like part-time or people I knew in the industry who could help me out. And then I think the year after, that's when I knew I really need constantly assistants who knows and who I could train.
Yeah.
So that's when I really built a team. And a lot of them were actually my friends who was in like the catering business with me, and then also one of them was an interior designer. So they're, you know, they liked the whole design and wedding. So I brought them on. Yeah.
Nice. And then since you have started, and when you first did those 65 weddings, how has the number of weddings you changed, or you planned every year, changed and evolved? And how has your team evolved because of that?
Right. So I would say I definitely limited my weddings. Right now we're doing about like 40 to 50, sometimes 30. Definitely less, but I would say, you know, I would say quality over quantity now. Before I just wanted the experience. Like I did bridal bazaar. I did every wedding show you can think of, and you know, wedding wire, my wedding, the knot. Like when I started in 2013, I just tried to get my name out there, and I would do any weddings. Like if you know, my prices definitely were lower because I didn't have as much experience. Even though I did have the background experience, I just didn't have the wedding planning experience yet. So even when a bride was trusting me, and I just gave it my all, and I worked nonstop. You guys, I can't even tell you. I probably only slept like 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
But I worked all the time, but I love it. You know, I think that's what's scary about this job is when you love it so much, you're just constantly working.
Yeah.
Because it's not work, so. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, and then building a team. That was my goal in like 2 to 3 years ago, and I could say I have the best team now, and that was one of the hardest things, actually, like building a team you trust. So yeah, now I have about 2 lead planners, one of them Jacob. Actually, Jacob was one of my first lead planner, and then 2 lead coordinators. And then we have a lot of assistants as well and bridal attendants.
And can you tell us a bit about your team and how you split up the different weddings that people work?
Right. So before I did the planning, the design, I did the coordination, day of management. I was there for setup, breakdown.
Wow.
Everything. You did everything.
Everything. Yeah. No life again.
Wow.
Now, you know, having Charlotte and having a family, I just learned to kind of maximize my time with her. So now I explain it to our clients, all of my weddings. I'm the lead planner and designer for my weddings, but I do assign you with your own lead coordinator. So I definitely separate it out now where I do the planning and booking, and then here's your coordinator who will finalize and execute the day up. And this is one of the best things I've ever done in my company, only because it gave me time to not be there the whole day.
Yeah.
Although I loved it, you know, I definitely will be there for the ceremony, the setup. I can't be there till the last dance anymore. I can't be there till 2 a.m. And I knew that. And so now I separate, and I think everybody who I explained it to, all of our clients, they totally get it. It's 100%. They're like, you trust your team to be there. You know, you don't have to be there till the last dance. And I say bye to them. I'll tell them who the coordinator is that will be there to break down and make sure everything is cleaned up and things like that. And they're totally fine with it. Yeah. And I know a lot of planners, they love to be there till the end. And I wish I could, but I just can't with my baby girl.
Yeah.
And now a few words from our sponsors. It's all about the experience. Encore Entertainment's premier level showmanship and talent is guaranteed to create a one-of-a-kind experience for your event. Encore has provided award-winning entertainment to some of the most lavishly designed events worldwide and is equally celebrated as a trusted source of talent amongst the elite in the event industry. Encore provides incredible live music for extraordinary events with a continuous variety of evolving live and virtual music options. Connect with the Encore team and begin creating the soundtrack for your next live or virtual event. Visit us at encorexp.com. And now let's get back to the interview.
We love your social media, your website, like all the platforms you use. You have so many beautiful images. How would you describe your design style?
Thanks, Lizzy. I would say I always try to go timeless more than trendy. I always say that. I had a bride actually yesterday. I had a consultation with them, and she said she loved us personally, and I like this made my day because she said we're not Pinteresting. Yeah. Like we're not a Pinterest planner, meaning that we don't. You know, our photos are not just from Pinterest.
Yeah,
like
you're just
we
not
don't
hopping on that trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's so unique and different. And she was an interior designer, so that really meant a lot for me. I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. She's like, don't take this the wrong way. Pinterest is great, but I'm glad I'm not seeing your photos like that looks like Pinterest.
Yeah.
So I think unique, and I tell her every client we have, we try to customize it to their story and their just their personality and their likes. So I think that's why all of our weddings are so different. Like I don't have a style, even though people think I could do all white weddings all day, which I could totally do all white weddings. But I like boho. I love bold colors. I love neutral. So, and I try to show that on social media and Instagram.
You talked about that you do a lot of design as well. Like what things do you do to like pull from them? Like what do you ask? Like are there certain questions that you like, oh, these are my top 4 questions that I always ask to help me execute or get to that level?
Right. So we do send them a questionnaire. So super detailed from what they like to eat to where they like to shop, favorite colors, dislikes, least favorite type of flowers. So even the things they don't like is very important too, and what they're drawn to. So that really, like, when I get that questionnaire, I really read it all and just really get to know them. And most of our clients are super open with color palettes, and they don't have a set wedding in mind, and so open. And it really gives us creativity.
What are some different tools that you use while designing? Are there any technology that you incorporate into it? You hand sketch everything?
I wish I hand sketched. I tried. I use Procreate. I love that tool on my iPad, and I just learned, and I just YouTubed a lot of things on how to do it. I love it. I use Canva for our design boards. And then we use PowerPoint as well, so different tools.
And then do you feel like there was a specific event or wedding that was pivotal for Lavish Weddings?
Yes, my first big one at Lavish, because they really gave me free range of whatever I wanted to do. So I turned Pacific Terrace into something it's never been, and within 2 weeks. Like, it was 2 to 3 weeks. And it was just so fun. It was like my dream wedding, and the bride was super sweet. It was actually their 10-year renewal. Oh. He was an NBA player, which I had no idea he was, because I'm not into an NBA, but he actually grew up here in San Diego, and my husband knew him. Because he's like, you don't know who he is. I'm like, no, I just don't know NBA as well. But yeah, it was really fun, and I remember being there so early and so late. But after that wedding, we get a lot of weddings now at Lavish, and it's one of our favorite venues. And just because we want to show them that we can do anything, like, give us an empty room and we can create your vision.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about that event? I mean, you said 2 to 3 weeks. So like, how did you make that happen? And then what transformation did you make?
Maybe it wasn't 2 or 3 weeks. It felt like it. Maybe it was like a month or so. So at first we were just gonna, it's gonna be a simple renewal, right? That's what I came in, I thought it was. And then suddenly, they get excited, and then we did a walkthrough, and they're like, oh, we need to change the flooring. Like, you think we need to do this? I'm like, yeah, we can do draping. We can bring anything you want. Yeah. We even had performers, like really fun performers. We had, what's his name? Genuine perform at the end, and all that. Yes, it was such a fun day. And it was the first time at Lavish, I think, where we really had to be there like 6 hours before to set up and break down. And anybody who's worked at Lavish, it's hard because they're only stairs and not really the elevator, but it's the best venue ever. Yeah. You can't buy the water, right? It's right there, the water. So that was a fun. And I still use all those photos because I just love it, and it's very timeless. And can't believe it was, I think, 3 years ago. I recently posted, and it doesn't even look like it was 3 years ago. Yeah. It looks like it could just be last year. So that's another thing about being timeless. Like, you don't want to be, oh, that was solely 1999.
You don't want to have to delete photos or remove the album.
Exactly.
I know you mentioned about your Sunset Indian wedding theme. How did you guys get into that market? There's like so many moving parts. Like, some planners like won't even touch it. What do you love most about like doing like ethnic weddings?
I had a bride, maybe it's my second year. She was Indian and he was Japanese, and fell in love with them. Like, we totally clicked. Right off the bat, I said, I've never done an Indian wedding, but I would love to. Yeah. Seen so many pictures, and she was one of those brides that's like, it's okay, I will tell you everything. So she was like, I just really want to integrate both our cultures together. And I said, I can do that. So she trusted me 100%. Of course, I did all my research, but every Indian wedding's so different, just depending where they're from, North Indian, South Indian. We've done Sikh weddings. It's all so different. So even when I meet with them, like, okay, what are your traditions? Yeah. What's important to you? And for her ceremony, I've never done a ceremony like that with the mandap and all the things you need, and family bringing in items that's important. So I really had to contact the priest and say, tell me all about what you do. And thank God he was like English speaking, so he really walked me through the whole ceremony. I don't remember all of them, but like I know like most part. So yeah, that's how I started, and I think we did a really good job, and it's all about referral, and when they love you, they'll recommend you. And we've done a few of their friends already, and it's just, referral from there.
What are the biggest challenges of owning your own business?
Say time management, definitely, and just being a businesswoman and then also being creative. That's definitely tough. When you own your own business, it's a lot that goes into it rather than just planning weddings and being creative. So you have to also be a good businesswoman, I would say.
What are some of the toughest things on the business side?
Taxes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was last week.
Yeah, right. That was last week. All done. Thank God. I'm lucky because my husband's mom is my accountant, so it's so easy and it's nice, and she keeps track of everything. But I don't know if I could do that. Like all my expenses and all of that, the expense report, your P&Ls, profit and loss. Just looking into that too, because I don't. Not that I don't like it, I just don't like looking at that stuff, and it's nice for her to create that because I would never do it for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, just making sure you're a good businesswoman, because in order to do this, you have to make a living off of it too. So I would just say, if I can recommend one thing or if I could change anything, I wish I went to business school actually.
What are a few lessons you've learned over the years that you wish you had known when starting your business and planning weddings?
Building a team sooner. Then I would have way more time and I would enjoy my 21st birthday and all that. But no. I would say building a team sooner. I don't think I did that enough until like maybe a couple years ago because I wanted to do everything myself.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the things that would change.
Was it hard letting go and delegating?
Yeah, it's 100%. It's so hard. And I don't want to say I'm a micromanager. I don't think I am, but it's so hard to just let go when you're so used to doing everything yourself. And training them to do it your way, I would say, is one of the hardest things. But after that, and after you trust them and trust the process of it and get their opinions, and I'm always open for change. I'm like, okay, if this doesn't work, this template, let's create a new one. So it was nice bringing other creative minds in and seeing like what I could change differently. Try to work smarter, not harder. So that was, I wish I would have done that way sooner.
I'm not a parent,
Yeah.
and I won't be for a while, but I feel like it's kind of like letting your kid go out and drive for the first time when they're 16, or letting them go on their first date. Like, that's the best thing for you and them that you have to do, but it's just getting to that stage, and then you realize it's okay.
Yeah. After the first one, it's like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
We'll see how you do with Charlotte.
Yeah. That I don't know. That's a different story.
So you also have two other companies that fall under the Lavish umbrella, Lavish Blooms and Lavish Travels. Can you tell us a little bit more about both of those?
Yeah, so Lavish Blooms is a luxury gifting. They're boxes, they're flower boxes. I just saw the need of more of a luxurious type floral arrangement, and I just fell in love with these crystal boxes. So I launched that 2 years ago, I believe, and then Lavish Travels, it's because I love traveling. It's a honeymoon planning and then also destination weddings.
Nice. And then do you offer both of those things completely outside of weddings? So anyone can book you to help plan their honeymoon or their destination, just trip, and they can also order the blooms outside whenever as well?
Yeah, we do offer it to our clients, mainly the traveling, so honeymoon plans. After we plan their wedding, who's usually in charge of the honeymoon? The groom, right? So they're like, Christine, we need your help too on that.
It's a lot.
Don't have to, So we try to make it all inclusive for them and do that. Brooke, I brought her in because she's such a great travel agent. So I really needed somebody who knows that well, and that's her background. So she usually handles that for me. And then she also plans all of my travels too, which is so nice. And then for Blooms Box, I actually create them myself. I don't advertise it enough, but I've done a lot more since COVID hit. It's really been nice because a lot of people are trying to send really nice gifts to people for their birthdays and, try to celebrate in that way. So I've been very busy with that, but usually it's just when it's Valentine's Day or Mother's Day, and I just enjoy making them. like I can never be an event florist. It's a lot of work they do, but I love flowers. So this is like the next best thing. Yeah.
And then what's next for Lavish Weddings?
Well, we can't wait for more weddings soon. Next is I'm actually working on, it's called Lavish Pro Pack. I think this goes back to the wedding, the movie The Wedding Planner, when Jolla had a little like emergency kit on her, right? And I always thought, oh my God, I want the best like fanny pack for planners. Like I've always researched like what's the best fanny pack, and I want a cute, sleek one. So I've actually designed and created one just for wedding planners.
Wow.
Yeah, almost there. We have the first sample. I have to make a few changes, but yeah, it'll probably come out in a few months or so. Yeah, and then the next one will be a mommy pack, because I think I'm all about fanny packs. I hate bringing big bags and anything that's easy. So yeah, that would be my next one.
Can I tell you what? Oh, sorry to
Go
interrupt.
ahead.
But one of my friends, she only loves carrying a clutch. And she's like, when I had my kids, I got a mini backpack for all of them, and they carried their own diapers, their baby wipes, and then now like her kids are so independent. They're like, oh, we're going on vacation, so they will go into the pantry and pack their own snacks. So that's something to think about. Like maybe you could create like a mini backpack for a kid.
Yes, kid pack. Oh, I would love that. Yeah. No, that's such a great idea.
You have this amazing company, an amazing team, an amazing family. How do you manage to balance your personal and work life so well?
It was hard when I had Charlotte, just time management, just having time for everything. But I really learned to separate out in different days. So I make sure like when I'm with Charlotte, I'm 100% with her. What they say, be in the moment. So I really try to do that. One of the thing I did was remove the alerts on my phone for emails. It used to be on there, and I used to be like, okay, I'm gonna reply back right away. Your emails can wait. It'll be there the next day. So I always tell them, it'll be there tomorrow. It'll be there in 2 hours. It's fine. So I just try to time manage, and I have days now where all I do will be work and emails. And I thought it's actually more productive than having to work an hour here and there throughout the day. So yeah, it's all about time management, especially with a little daughter. So.
What tips do you have for other business owners out there who may be nervous starting a family because it might affect their business and their momentum? What positive thing that you could tell them that we could do it?
You can do it. I did it. It's right, because before I had Charlotte, I would ask all the wedding planners who had kids, I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, I don't even have time for myself. You just have to do it. Lavish was my baby, but once Charlotte came, and, my job is so rewarding and I love it, but there's nothing like being a mom and starting your family. There's really nothing like it. And people always ask, what's your biggest achievement? And, I would say like creating a company, like that's huge, but really it's being a mom. That is my greatest achievement of all, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm gonna say, like, you can do it. You could be a boss mom. It's totally fine. You just have to, you can't do it all, but you just have to time manage and know what you can take on and what you can't. Definitely, I'm not the same entrepreneur and planner I was before I had Charlotte. I would say I'm better because I know what I want, what type of weddings I want, type of clients I want now, and what's worth it. Every time I take on a wedding, it's like, is it worth it? And usually it is. After I meet the client, I just fall in love with them. Like, I'm going to your wedding. But it's really like, is this wedding worth me not being with Charlotte and my family? So that is like the number one thing I think about now. And I think when you have a family, that's what you have to think about. But you can do it. Lots of boss moms out there.
So quarantine, or future quarantine moms, let's go.
Let's go. Build something.
Well, Christine, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers or us?
Oh, well, I think it's great what you guys are doing. Can't wait to see it all and hear everybody's stories and just get to know them. And thank you.
Thank you.
This week's venue spotlight is the Rosewood Miramar Beach. The Rosewood Miramar Beach is situated on an exclusive stretch of stunning Miramar Beach and located 80 miles northwest of Los Angeles in Montecito, California. The city is cherished for its stunning landscape, pleasant year-round climate, and spectacular estates and architecture. The unrivaled seaside setting at Rosewood Miramar Beach creates a uniquely romantic stage for the exchange of vows and celebratory moments. Grand matrimonial events are held in stunning venues that showcase the resort's unrivaled oceanside setting. The Grand Ballroom can accommodate 350 guests dancing the night away. The 8,000 square foot Great Lawn enhances wedding ceremonies with infinite ocean views, while Miramar Beach provides an unforgettably romantic beachfront stage for the exchange of vows and private soirees. An idyllic coastal retreat designed with style, grace, and glamour, the resort sits on the site of the former Miramar by the Sea Hotel, a once cherished destination for fashionable beach getaways. Our next guest on the Wedding Remixed is Bobby Fader. With an impressive career in the hospitality industry spanning over 3 decades throughout Southern California, Bobby not only has unmatched experience running and overseeing event venues, but has also built a stellar reputation among industry professionals and leaders. As a director of catering at the historic La Valencia Hotel in La Jolla, California, Bobby has spent 5 years creating and innovating their wedding and events, all while enamoring couples, clients, vendors, and his entire team with his charming personality and unrivaled experience. Situated on a hill overlooking the Pacific Ocean and pristine San Diego beaches, the La Valencia offers modern, newly renovated event spaces, spatial coastal villas and suites, Mediterranean-inspired cuisine, and old-world luxury throughout its iconic building. So please enjoy our conversation with Bobby Fader.
Well, welcome, Bobby. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Wedding Remix.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, so how have you been the last couple of months?
Fantastic.
Yeah, great. Busy?
The past couple of weeks, extremely busy. Before that, not so busy, because obviously all working from home and trying to figure out how to solve what we need to solve, basically, and talking a lot to people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of phone time, a lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of, just conversations with couples and saying, where are we, how are we doing, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
How can I get your money? Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about your childhood and growing up in Florida?
I had a bad habit of bringing home stray animals every single day.
Started early.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my first 2 male cats had babies, so it was a whole different lesson at that point, because they evidently weren't male. No, one wasn't, at least. Or it was a freak science, I'm not sure. It was a good life, not a rich life, not a privileged life by any means. But I spent a lot of time at the beach, because that's what you do in Florida.
Yeah.
A lot of youth groups, activity, things like that. It was nice. Yeah.
Would you move back to Florida?
Oh, God, never.
Never?
Yeah.
I think once you're in California, that's it, right?
Florida is a nice place to visit. There's a lot of reasons why you hear those stories of what WTF, what the Florida. It's like, it's a nice place to visit. I like the water. I still have relatives out there. But no, never lived there again. No.
At what age did you move to California?
So I think I came out here when I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah. You could drink your Florida back then when you were 18.
I was going to say.
Okay. I moved out there at 20. I drove cross country, fun trip.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What about your family life? Was there any role of events or the hospitality industry when you were younger in your life?
No.
Nothing.
No, I was, no.
Okay.
Not really. I was president of my youth group for a while in Southern Florida. So we did a lot of, meetings and events and things like that for us, but nothing really
For others.
Nothing really event-wise, yeah.
What did you go to school for, and what did you plan on doing at the time?
So I went to school to get away from the family.
Yeah.
But still in Florida, right?
Still in Florida, yeah. I studied anthropology. And I had not a clue as to what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I took anthropology because I thought it was fascinating, not because it was pragmatic or realistic, by any means. Had I been smart, I would have taken a business course. Had I been smart, I would have done different things. But I was never that smart, I'm more of a social beast than I am a other thing. So I studied anthropology, but I worked my way through school working in restaurants.
Oh.
So did cooking, did waiting tables, bartending, you know, whatever you need to do to get the bills paid, so to speak.
So you were kind of in the scene a little bit.
Yeah. I've been working in restaurants since I was 13, though. So,
Wow,
yeah.
13.
Yeah.
What was your first job at that
Dishwashing at a Holiday Inn.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And eating their bread.
It was probably great.
I remember it being really good. I don't know why. Yeah.
So after graduating, what led you to California and then eventually getting into the hospitality industry, not just working at restaurants?
Yeah. So I was working at a Hilton in Florida at the time as a restaurant manager. And I woke up one day, it's stupid. I woke up bored. And I wanted something different.
Yeah.
So I just sort of quit and moved. Yeah.
Just did it.
Yeah, just did it. Just drove cross country and ended up in LA and got a job my first week in LA, which was kind of fun at a country club, at a job I should never, ever have had. But I was a good talker.
Yeah.
And they were evidently a bad interviewer, and they offered me the job.
Nice.
So, and I took it.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's how I stayed. That's how I ended up in California.
Yeah.
You mentioned about working at the Holiday Inn and the country club. What other places did you work at before you landed your job at the property at La Valencia?
Oh, you Vashmir. Really? A lot. So I did dinner houses for a long time. So I worked with a company called Hungry Tiger for quite a few years. I worked a little bit for a company called Cask and Cleaver. That was a horrible job. I even worked at a little company called Big Yellow House at one point.
Really?
That was interesting, yeah. So a lot of restaurant work.
Okay.
Then I ended up at the Inn at the Park Hotel in Anaheim, which used to be Hilton. And I worked there for quite a few years before I ended up in Laguna Beach. In Laguna Beach, I ended up at, Hungry Tiger. Yes, okay. Then I went to the Park Hotel.
Back and forth and back.
And I was their assistant food and beverage director there for a while. And then I went to Laguna Beach, where I worked at the Hotel San Martin, which is a small boutique hotel, which I ended up loving a lot. That was a nice experience, just because I like the small boutique hotels. And again, I like the interpersonal connections.
Yeah.
So with smaller properties, you actually get to meet and talk with people and get to know people.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different type of style, I guess. But and then from there, I ended up at and so from that hotel, when that one closed down with new ownerships and different changes and all that kind of stuff, the Tivoli Terrace, where I was for 22 years, kept calling me, and I did not want to go work for the group or the family. I did not interest me in the least tiny bit. I actually went in an interview there in a t-shirt and jeans, which I would never, ever, I don't even really wear t-shirts, which I would never, ever really do. But I spent the entire time sitting on the floor playing with her dogs.
Oh.
And then she kept asking me to come work, and I kept saying no. And then they finally asked with a decent amount of money, and I said yes, thinking this would be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
And 22 years later.
22 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I found out I fell in love with weddings.
Oh.
Yeah.
What key skills would you say would be helpful for other people who want to continue moving up into the hotel world? Because I hear people could start from the front desk and then they become a director. Like, are there programs into place? Like, how can they continue moving up?
Hotels will always train people inside to go up, to go things. My suggestion to anybody for anything is to learn every aspect of every business, right? My strengths come from me being able to have done everything, really. The best hotel people, the people I see who have worked the different departments, who have done the front desk, who have done, room service, who have done housekeeping, because you don't truly understand the industry until you've actually played the different roles in it. Educating yourself in every aspect of the hotel will make you a better person.
Yeah.
But hotels also require dedication, a sense of obligation. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It just isn't. And you have to be able to like people and have to be able to communicate. And it's a lot of different things that interplay there.
Yeah.
Communication, being polite, is the biggest thing, I think. Nobody wants a schmuck.
No. Bobby, you have been at properties You actually stayed at properties for a little bit longer. Whereas I think we've both heard of a lot of people in the industry who constantly hop around from property to property to property. What is it that you have enjoyed so much about the properties that you've worked at and that you've stayed at that has made you want to stay?
I'm a person who's about building relationships for me. So when I worked at Tivoli and Tivoli Terrace and those 2 properties for not long, I had families coming back who got married with us. I saw their kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes I married some of their kids. For me, I stay at places because I build a sense of ownership and a sense of my own world, so to speak. So it's the relationships that make me stay in any place. I do what I do because of relationships and the interpersonal connections that you make with people. So for me, it's having people where families would come back on their anniversary dates, where I see, even like in La Jolla, I see people coming back all the time. In Laguna, they came back all the time. Then you meet their kids, you see pictures of the kids, you become part of the family, and that's why I stay. I also get a sense of ownership of properties that I'm at. So when I take over a department, I take over a department. It becomes mine.
Yeah.
The hotel is a subsidiary of me, so to speak, is how I look at things. And that's why I end up staying. If you move, I understand moving, especially when you're younger, moving from place to place, because you need the experience, you need to find different ways of doing different things. And without moving in my earlier career, you know, I wouldn't have all the background experience that I have now. I wouldn't have learned what I know now that allows me to stay at places and build the relationships that I want to build and stuff.
So going back when you worked at the other property for 22 years, how does one continue like asking for your worth? Because I know a lot of hotel industry friends, they always say like we like to jump properties because they keep getting pay increases and.
Well, they get more money when they move. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you like, as a person who's like loyal to that company, how do you just continue going like this is my worth this year? This is like how do you approach that for someone who wants to be loyal for a company?
That used to be hard for me. When I was younger. It's not hard for me anymore. Now it's understanding truly understanding what you're worth and what your value is. What do you bring to the table? You know, in that sense. And a lot of that is tracking with numbers. Despite all the social aspects of our industry, it really is about the bottom line profits. It's about the numbers you're going to bring to the tables. It's about the how you save on labor, how you use your labor, how you sell your product. How can I increase the product? Right? Because everything we do every day should not be just, let's do the same thing today. It's what can I do today that's going to be better tomorrow, right? How do you stay relevant in the industry? How do you keep yourself, you know, an important, intricate part of that community? And for me, a lot of it was when I was in Laguna, I also became part of the Visitors Bureau. I worked on different committees with the city council. I became intrinsic in that community, which allowed me to increase my value for the actual company that I worked for.
Smart man.
And maybe. So
There's something.
Back then, it was sort of like I loved doing all that stuff. So it just sort of helped me but it was later as I was doing everything, I realized that this is how I can keep myself alive and keep myself going and all that kind of stuff. Because really at the end of the day, you're only worth what you can bring in. Even though I know my company loves me now, even though I know that I'm successful, I am still only as good as my next sale, right? If I stop selling, if I stop producing, then no matter how much they like me, I am no longer of a value to the company. So as a salesperson, you have that constant, what some people call stress, you know, I call it challenging and kind of fun. You have that constant thing saying, I have to sell tomorrow. I have to close something today. I have to do this. Otherwise, you have no value.
Well, it's great motivation if you view it that way instead of stress.
Well, I don't like stress. No, I like the challenge. And I like selling.
Yeah, because you set your personal goals and you're not comfortable. So I love that about you. Can you tell us about the property and share some of its history?
Of La Valencia?
Yeah.
God, history it has. It was built back in 1926, though the oldest part of the building where the ballroom is actually was built back in 1908. And it became adjacent to, there was a hotel first, and then you had La Valencia, and then they joined back, I think it was like 1950, and became one hotel. Wow. So it's really kind of cool that in that sense. But it's the old Hollywood haunt. Your Clark Gables, your Frank Sinatras, now more your Steven Tylers and Billy Joels, and some politicians and stuff.
Kardashians.
But for Kardashians, yes. Not as much since the grandmother retired, but. So it's nice. What's nice is that it's a charming, intimate hotel. Again, things that I like about it. So like when people come and stay there, they're not necessarily, it's not a big deal, right? It's comfortable, it's nice. Nobody seems to bother anybody, so it's really cool that way.
Is there any interesting facts or things that make the property unique?
Well, I think the history of it is unique. The pinkness of it is unique, though it wasn't painted pink till 1950.
What was it before?
It was white.
Oh.
It was boring.
I feel like it could get dirty being right there by the beach.
Yeah, you would think so, right? But I have the nickname the Pink Lady because of the tile work that's actually inside in the garden area. There's a tile work done by a Spanish artist, I think in 1929.
So it had the nickname before it was pink.
It had yes.
Oh.
Because of the Pink Lady in the garden.
And then it's just embraced its true.
Oh.
Yeah.
True identity, yeah.
I think what actually happened, I think the owners, prior owners, had been traveling, and so I think the Pink Hotel in Hawaii and thought, this, we should do this, and I think that's how they actually did it. But there are several Pink hotels in the United States still. Actually, I worked at the other one, the Don Cesar, in St. Petersburg Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like pink?
Long time. Yeah. Live the dream, babes.
Pink, pink water glass.
Yeah. There you go. I'm living in pink skin.
You're listening to The Wedding Remix. And now a few words from our sponsor. To Be Designed is San Diego's most unique and custom rental design house. TBD creates memorable moments by creating things their clients wish existed. To Be Designed started with offering unique selections of event rentals, and it is still the cornerstone of the business. From sofas to dining to custom bars, they have everything you need to bring your event to life. They are constantly updating the inventory to stay fresh and unique. Be sure to check them out at tbdsandiego.com. And now let's get back to our program.
Can you tell us about more of the Whaling Bar and the Med?
So the Whaling Bar doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. So at some point when the new owners took it over, they got some bad direction by somebody, and they tried to make the Whaling Bar more modern and fresh, which was completely unsuccessful.
What about the history of it behind it?
Well, again, back in the 1920s, right? So you had the Whaling Bar and you had Café LaRue. The Whaling Bar was the bar aspect of it, and Café LaRue was a bakery, all in the same section that it is right now. Right now we're calling it Café LaRue. So half was the Whaling Bar, half was that. There was a Whaling Bar picture that was in the Whaling Bar that is now restored and right now inside what we call the Bayanera boardroom. It was hand painted on a wall, so I had to take the whole cement wall out and to re-put the cement wall in with the pieces, with the rebarb and all that kind of stuff. So very, very cool. So they did save that, which is nice because we're hoping to maybe put it back inside Café LaRue and try to convert Café LaRue back to the intimate vibe that it was before, because that's really what the community wants. The Med dining room is beautiful, ocean view, beautiful tile work, wide wood plank floors, great fireplace, and amazing food. Our chef, Timothy Ralphs, is a Michelin star winning chef. He's extremely talented. So it's nice. And we have the Med restaurant, plus we also have the Ocean View Terrace with some of the best views in San Diego of the ocean. Yeah.
What do you like to eat at the Med?
Everything.
Everything. What do you always recommend to your guests?
I always go seafood. We're in California, for God's sake, and who needs chicken? I'm sorry, except for you. I know you.
I just ordered a chicken burger.
It's like, whatever. Yeah, but his seafood is amazing. His sauce combinations are amazing, and he's just very creative in what he does. So I would always say seafood. I mean, the steaks are great.
Yeah.
His octopus is really good. But I'm a person who, if you have really good seafood, being from Florida, eating seafood all my life, I would always go directly towards seafood. The crab cakes are really good there, too.
Seafood.
Yeah. Oh, still seafood, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Do we see any future renovations happening on your property?
Well, actually, most have been done already.
Okay.
So we're just finishing up, as of next week, our final section of rooms. So all the rooms have been remodeled, the ballroom's been remodeled. And the only thing I see happening is hopefully the Café LaRue getting changed back to the Whaling Bar.
Yeah.
but nothing else. I think we are done for a while,
Yeah.
which makes me happy.
How many rooms are on the property?
Only 113, so small, and they're all different.
All of them are different.
Yeah, we have small vintage rooms, European style, which means small.
Yeah.
Then you have we have different suites and different villas and different, what we call icon suites, which are hello, give me money, but are just absolutely stunning. So.
Do you have a favorite suite that you recommend for couples? Or is there a designated suite for couples that?
There's not a designated suite for couples. There, I do like in the main building. I do like a Riviera suite and a Sunset suite. They're in the older part of the building, which is also why I probably like them a little bit more. Yeah. Our villas are beautiful. Villas have fireplaces, balconies. They were back in the 2000s. But there's something for me about the old texture of the other rooms that I like a little bit better.
Yeah.
Though everybody else likes the other rooms better. But.
So since it's a boutique hotel, is there AC in the rooms?
There is.
Okay. Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yes. Yes.
There's tons of Laguna hotels that don't have
No,
AC.
they do
You
not.
said European style.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of them
so
don't have
I
AC.
was like, oh.
Yeah, Surf and Sand does not have air conditioning, I don't think.
Good renovation
Yeah,
upgrade.
they don't.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the different spaces at your property?
So we have a couple different spaces and different event spaces at our facility. So we have what we call the Galleria room, which is a small room, can fit up to 60 people. It does have ocean views, has 3 Juliet balconies, again overlooking La Jolla Cove and the cliffs, which is really nice. And that's one of our spaces. We also have what we call the Vendimia, which is my blue room or my wine room, which is great for little intimate dinners of up to 18 to 24 people. It does have a balcony in there. It is in our wine room, so it has the wine all around it, which is nice. And this amazing wallpaper, which is blue, which is just totally awesome, if you ask me.
Yeah.
We then have our boardroom, which is called the Bayanera room, where we have the whaling bar picture that we just talked about, and some old spears and things. Old, what do you call them?
Fishing spheres.
Yeah.
Wow.
Harpoons. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Which are kind of cool and stuff. But it's a nice little boardroom. We also have our main ballroom, which is called the Veranda Ballroom. The Veranda Ballroom is different from your typical ballrooms. It's not the high ceilings. It has amazing crystal chandeliers. It's a little now 1950s retro for me, but in a really good way. It's done in soft grays, hardwood floors, and I have my iconic black and white tiling that's in our main foyer that people just love. It has an attached patio that overlooks the oceans, walled windows that overlooks the ocean. Every seat in the ballroom has ocean view, which is nice. So it's a nice intimate dining space. Max, I've done 180 in there. I'd say 150 is probably my comfort zone. I could probably fit 200, but I would not like it as much. But I do like the fact that it's indoor-outdoor vibe to it, which is nice. We have our wedding garden where we do our ceremonies, but that can do up to 130 people. We can also do dinners down there. I'm doing a lot of all my elopements, all my wedding dinners, not wedding dinners, all my dinner reservations for 20 people down there. So it's really, really a pretty European space. You add in market lighting out there, and you feel like you're on the Amalfi Coast. It's just kind of amazing with pure ocean views, palm trees, really everything you could possibly want. We have our front patio as well, which I do a lot of events on also, which is more of a Mediterranean vibe to it. It's urban La Jolla, but as urban as La Jolla gets, really. It's done the soft pinks, the chandeliers, there's a fireplace out there. So again, you have that whole European vibe going on for us, which is nice. You really feel like you get lost in a different world.
Yeah.
And then we have a pool, which I'm not allowed to use much.
Aww.
But you have?
Of course. The word no is really hard for me to understand.
Well, when you come in, you take over.
Yeah, right. There's an upper pool deck that we do use. I won't use it in our prime season because during July and August, we are just filled with people.
Yeah.
Of course.
And you really don't want to displace your hotel guests because that would be bad. One of the most beautiful spaces in our hotel is actually not a rentable space, but it's called the La Sala, which is our lobby bar. It's just done beautifully. Ocean views, great chandeliers, lots of history in there. The ceilings are painted. It's all very, very cool.
Yeah.
So what the place really is just a little charming place, yeah.
And then you mentioned the Med earlier for the restaurant. You
Yes.
can actually have events there as
We
well.
can, we can, depending on the date and the food and beverage minimum, of course. You know, pragmatically, it doesn't make sense for me to close a restaurant and hurt the restaurant business unless I'm getting a decent amount of dollars.
Yeah.
But it is an awesome spot. Yeah, not a big spot though, so you can't do really big events there. But it is stunning.
What advice can you give someone who starting in the industry?
A, become literate.
Common sense.
I think knowledge is power, right? I think the ability to be able to carry conversations with your clients, no matter whether they be in their 80s or in their 20s or in their 50s, right? That you can find common bonds to talk about. So I think being well-read, I think staying up with the times, I think being able to carry a conversation. So I would not suggest having people go to something called like Toastmasters to get an education on how to actually speak to people. There's nothing for me that is more disheartening when I hear people not being able to have a good conversation. Because believe it or not, how you write, what you say, makes a big difference in how people perceive you. And I just think educating yourself in how to present yourself and learning the rules of etiquette are really important. Because I don't think it's taught anymore in families. I don't think people care about it anymore in families. I don't think they teach manners in families. And I know that sounds maybe that's old school, but I know when I'm speaking with some of my clients from back east, or when I'm speaking it's how you say what you say. And when I watch them speaking with some of the staff on my team, and I'll have to put my staff aside and say, okay, let's look at this again. Let's look at these letters and how you're writing them, because it makes a difference on perception, and it'll also make a difference on how much that person can close as a salesperson, right? Because they have to trust you, and they have to feel the sense of security and the sense that you know what you're doing, and you can do that through language and do that through how you write and present yourself. So I think that kind of an education for yourself is extremely important. I also think if somebody wants to get into the event industry, they have to understand that their life is done. You are working weekends, you are working long hours, you will work a 12-hour day, you will be on your feet. And those are things that they have to understand in the beginning. I've had many people come to me and say, they want to do my job. I say, great, you have to work weekends. And they go, well, no, that's not really what I want. I want to work Monday through Friday. We're not a Monday through Friday business. But I do things more on Sundays and Mondays. I do things during the week when it's not crowded, which is perfect. But your lifestyle is different. And it's harder, I think, for some younger people to understand that. It's harder on relationships. Because if you have a partner who is not in your industry, and all of a sudden you're gone Saturday and Sunday, when they're typically off work, it does add strain. So I think when people go into the business in terms of social catering, they have to understand really what they're walking into. A lot of event planners there are event planners out there who make a decent living doing 12 events a year. There are other event planners who work every single weekend. But your big events, the ones who do those big events, are doing this because they've built up a history and a credibility of who they are. So it takes time. So if you want to get in this business and make $100,000 the first year, it's not going to happen. You know, it takes work, it takes dedication, and education, because you have to stay relevant. You cannot be a one-shop person in terms of like, this is my style, this is all I do, right? Because part of the reason I stay somewhat successful in this industry is because I'm always reading up on new things. I'm always seeing what's a new trend, what's this, what's that. Because otherwise, I'm doing things back from the 1940s, right? Which, by the way, is coming back, which is kind of cool. But it's staying relevant. So education is everything for me. And learning how to speak is really super important. And I just think it's underrated at this time. You don't want to call somebody a dude. You don't want to go, hey, guys. You don't want to say, hey. You know, it's just different, because if you present yourself as a quality product, you will get quality products. Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
That's my personal belief. That's my suggestion for the day. And don't be a schmuck.
I love it.
Be polite. Smile, say thank you. Send thank you notes, by the way. Do follow-up thank yous. There's more to an event than just the event itself.
Yeah.
It's also what happens afterwards, because you want that guest to come back to you or to recommend you. And for the people, I keep for myself, I keep in my computer anniversary dates and all that kind of stuff, so I can send a little, hey, happy anniversary type stuff. Because each event you do can bring you more events.
Yeah.
And that's how I build. And I build my business off of really, yes, La Valencia gets business, but a lot of my business comes from all the vendors that I work with and people I built relationships with. And that's the other thing, build relationships.
Yeah.
It's never about you.
So Bobby, with an impressive career in the industry that's spanned over multiple decades, you've probably seen it all. Are there any memories that you have, good or bad, that really stand out?
I always have good memories. I don't seem to remember any bad memories. I've had challenging times. So I took the job at the Inn in the Park Hotel. The food and beverage director, who's amazing, by the way, at that hotel. Also, who's a little bit crazy and a yeller and a screamer. And my first day there, they were doing this huge event. This is back in the day when ice sculptures were like everything, right?
I've seen him making a comeback today
coming
too,
back.
though.
Little bit,
Yeah.
okay, because he did. I'll tell you about this ice sculptures is amazing. I walk in the door, and I had not met him yet. I literally just saw the job, and he's sort of yelling, because he's yelling at everybody. And I looked, excuse me, we just met. You don't even know me.
Yeah.
You're not my dad. So why are you yelling? And after that, we became really good friends, which is really kind of cool. But they did an ice sculpture that was, they built a stage out of ice, put a piano on top of that, built columns and a roof on top of that, and it's like a pianist in there.
I hope
That is so scary.
this is a good memory, right?
Oh yeah,
It's not going to turn bad. Okay.
No, this was a good memory.
Like,
It was just
structure failure.
It was just
That's amazing.
It was just amazing. I just remember being like one of the most awesome things I've saw, because they had huge ice sculptors sculpting, they had swans and animals and all that other stuff also, but this centerpiece was just amazing.
Wow.
But that's also back in the day when there was no such thing as the word budget.
Yeah.
For these large corporations, right?
Did the piano work?
Oh yeah. The pianist was amazing. Wow. He did the Flight of the Bumblebee backwards, which is also very cool. Yeah.
Very impressive event.
That was his shtick, so to speak.
Wow.
But we did a smaller party at Hotel San Martin New Year's Eve. It was raining. Everything was outside. So we got tarps and put them from one end of the building, the other end of the building, tried to cover the patio, which worked for an hour and a half. Yeah. Then it was all wet.
Then people were drunk and
They had fun. So yeah, you always have good and bad memories of things, Most of my memories are fun memories of couples and people and individual weddings that were just kind of cool. Like I had one wedding where they had all gospel singers coming, and it was just amazing. And the dancing and the hats were just awesome. So it's just different things. I love ethnic weddings. Yeah. White weddings, they're all the same. We do what we do, right? But we can bring some cultural color and touch and music.
New and
It's just exciting and fun.
So
for me.
are there any restrictions on outside catering for ethnic food?
The only outside food catering we do right now is Indian food.
Okay.
Well, what's next for you, Bobby?
I have not a clue, but I never close any doors.
Yeah.
I'm planning on not leaving La Valencia because I really like it.
Unless you get to go to Italy or Spain.
If an opportunity
France, right.
fell up where I could just go work someplace for and be still secure financially.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I just want to make sure I have my retirement set up.
Yeah.
I would do that. I definitely need to travel. My travel plans for this year got canceled. So I have to figure out what I want to do next year. But we'll see.
Where did you want to travel to?
Well, we were going to go to Russia.
Oh, nice.
Because
you already have your visas and everything for that?
We did.
Wow.
But, things happen.
Yeah.
So now let's see what I want to do next year. Just something, I always have to do something, Otherwise you get bored.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sit.
How much longer do you think you're going to be in the hospitality industry at La Valencia?
Let's see. Well, they have walkers now. So
But you said lifts aren't always the best.
I know. So, I have no clue whatsoever. I don't know if I'll ever really just run away from it completely, just because I am a social beast by nature.
Yeah.
And I think for me, what gives me life.
Yeah.
I could be feeling like really crappy, but as soon as a client walks in the door, my life goes kaboom.
Yeah.
I feed off of the energy of people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't have a term date in mind.
Well, good.
You know, at least not yet. I guess when I stop becoming relevant, then I stop.
Which is going to be hard since you constantly like to be
Yeah.
educated and you
I
like
hope.
new things.
I hope that's the goal.
Well, Bobby, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you all very much for having me.
And that's our show. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Peace.